I want to talk to you about one of the most unrecognized yet damaging forms of emotional abuse in marriage. It's unrecognized because there are no physical marks, no secret woman on the side, no screaming fights, no addictions. But there is emotional abuse, and it's called indifference. You see, the opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference. Because indifference says you're not worth my time, you're not worth my energy, your needs don't matter to me, your feelings don't matter to me. You're here simply to serve me, my needs, to care for our kids, to provide a paycheck, to be a maid or a cook, but don't ask me for anything. Indifference isn't something that's done, it's something that's not done. It's a failure to show even the most basic care for the other. And remember, both of you made a vow to love, honor, and cherish each other. But there are countless women and men who can identify with some form of indifference in their marriage. Now, that doesn't mean they're all being emotionally abused, so it's important to identify between a pattern of chronic and gross indifference or a particular type of indifference that's simply an area of weakness. For example, many men have never learned how to connect on an intimate emotional level, but they do show care for you in other ways. Maybe they help you around the house, they're good dads, they're good stewards of the family finances. Maybe you can count on your husband to show up when you need help with a project or a non-emotional problem. But if your husband does none of these things, he is far more than just emotionally disconnected. He's indifferent. He shirks his responsibility to care for you in every way. And over time, this level of indifference can be toxic to you because it's a daily message that you're not worth any of his time. You're not worth his energy or spending money to care for you. And if this is your situation, you have to ask yourself, why am I living with someone who absolutely has no concern for my well-being? And is it even possible to stay well in a marital relationship this way? Here's the truth. Forget romance novels and movies. It isn't about finding the right guy and having the perfect life when you get married. Most long-term marriages run from a C+ to a B most of the time. Of course, there are a few A moments and some D moments, but overall it's a safe and trusting relationship. Marriage was never designed to meet all of your needs, and when that's your expectation, you'll wind up living disappointed and angry. So think hard about your relationship. Is your spouse chronically indifferent in nearly every area, or is this indifference mainly when it comes to emotional connection? If he shows care for you in other areas, then perhaps you can focus on being grateful for the things your husband does provide, and then take some responsibility to meet your needs in other ways. Now, this doesn't mean you ignore the area of indifference. But when you talk to your husband about it, remember, he may have some deep wounds either from the marriage or from his own past, and so be sure to show empathy and compassion. And remember that you're not a perfect wife either. You're not capable of meeting all of your husband's needs, just like he isn't capable of meeting all of your needs. Acknowledging this reality helps keep our own expectations realistic. Remember, there's a big difference between an imperfect husband and a grossly indifferent one, and your response to each should also be different. If your husband is grossly indifferent and shows absolutely no care for you as a woman, as his wife, or even as a person, then you are in an emotionally abusive relationship, and you need to do something to help yourself get safe and strong.